You might have to take this thing from me.
Why?
My wrists don't bend that way. I'm messing it up already. Where'd Vinny go?
Vinny's messing with his sex. Context is important, but
It is. Okay, it's angled
Yes.
incorrectly. There it is.
There. Now we need a Vincent.
We do. Vinny.
Just kissed him on the ear.
You got to do all your adjusting and stuff.
It's weird because I don't have the gimbal, so I don't have to do all the adjusting. I don't have my glasses on my hat.
What do you mean you don't have the gimbal?
I don't know. So that's like I set it down and I adjust my name tag, which is underneath my sweatshirt. Hold on.
That's why I'm reminding you. I'm gonna call Vinny.
There
Vincent,
we go. Now my name tag's
Where are
good.
you?
Yo. What up?
Are you belt fed about anything today?
I really am not, but I kind of am. And it has. And I was thinking about this yesterday.
It's my favorite.
Freaking grocery shopping. Still, like that is like the majority of my existence outside of here.
I know the struggle.
Interacting with the public is in the grocery store.
Same.
So last week, Monday, I complained about people and leaving their shopping cart here and shopping over here. So I'm trying to stay out of the way. I drive the cart when Cindy and I go shopping.
I have to drive the cart because Nick's not aggressive enough.
So, same. So I drive the cart. So I'm driving the cart. She's looking at clothes and...
Dad, Vinny's not even here.
Yeah, Vinny's not there. I am not Vinny. So I'm driving the cart. Cindy's looking at clothes and stuff. I'm not even by her. I'm like on the other side of the big table. Okay? So I'm parked. And my goal is to stay out of everybody's way. I don't want to be in the way. So I'm like getting out and moving here, moving here. This person walks up with their cart and parks it right next to mine. Not a cart, sorry.
One of those big...
The folding table things. So they could fold the shirts. So as an employee walks up with one of the folding table things. And she parks it right next to me. As people are coming down the aisle this way and this way to get by.
So you were double parked?
Yes. I wasn't.
Well, she was. Double parking you?
She was just blocking the lane. And then I was like trapped. I'm like, I can't, because there's people in front of me trying to make a left turn. And I can't get out. And so now I'm in the way. But it wasn't my fault. But I felt like it was my fault because I don't work there. There was an employee standing there.
Don't get me started on that. I love and hate it all at the same time.
No, I want to get you started on it.
When you go to... Phil needs a brighter watch band. When you go to Aldi and Costco, they're both like this. The employees, they don't like customers. They don't... They're there
I think that's true in most retail shops.
No.
Honestly.
Like, they don't have customer service. Like, that's not at the top of their priority list. You know, it's bittersweet. There's a sacrifice there because they're just there to get the job done. But they will cut you off.
Oh, yeah. They will.
They will cut you off. They will get in your way. Like, if you don't pick your stuff fast enough and get out of the way, they are right in there I'm so glad Aldi has self-checkout now. Because whenever I go to
Now? Like it's a new thing?
I mean, within the past year or two, probably.
Oh.
But for a while, you know, the cashiers would ring out your stuff and they throw
they're fast.
in the cart.
They don't care. Yeah,
they don't care. And they throw it in the cart. It's like, okay, well, now I have to go buy another pack of eggs and another bag of bread. Like, why do you do this to me? And
so if your bread gets a little mangled, you can't have that?
I'm being hyperbolic. Why are you like this? So, sorry, there's stuff happening on the top of the screen. Anyway, it's bittersweet though, because they get the stuff done and they have cheap prices.
I love the Aldi when they do. I do like they have self-checkout. Ours has always had self-checkout from as long as I've known.
It's because you live in fancy schmancy Baldwin.
Maybe it hasn't. I don't know.
From the south side.
But I love how fast they are. They don't mess around. It's like bleep, 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 bleep. And man, if your money's not ready, this reminds me of...
Good morning, Luke.
I went to... I just noticed your new shoes. I like those. I went to Philly for Marine Corps birthday many years ago. and we went to, there's two competing Philly cheesesteak places that are right across the street from each other. Gino's and something else. I don't remember which one's which or whatever.
Good morning, Martin. I just wanted to say it before I went away.
That's fine.
Philly cheesesteak.
Do I hear one of our alarms going off? I think I do.
Oh, sorry. Well, if Vincent would come out here.
Yeah. Anyway, my buddy's trying to tell me how to order. And there's like, there's a whole bunch of people in line. And he's like, he goes, you want this, you want onions, you want this, you want this. You got to say it this way. And then you hand them cash. They only take cash. And they don't give you change. It's like, you hand them cash and move on. And if you don't move, you feel like the guy's going to rip you through the window and throw you in a garbage can.
No soup for you.
Yeah, that's what, man, it was like, you walk up and you're like, help!
That's the way I feel like Qdoba.
Oh, my.
Or Chipotle or whatever.
God, you had to say it a certain way with the right words and hand them cash and get out of the way. And they were literally like throwing sandwiches up at the window. It's bonkers.
East Coast is very fast paced.
Yes.
Yeah, city life. It's got that city life.
Charles!
Oh, God, I have my ear broken. Jesus.
Good morning, Charles.
Anyway.
What are we talking about today, Elizabeth?
Well, we were talking about...
Where the hell did Vincent go?
I don't know, but we need him out here because this is very much in line.
Vinny!
Vincent, come to the floor. I mean, we've kind of already dabbled in this speed thing. Slow as smooth.
Well, we're definitely working on the slow part right now with
Oh,
Pokey Leone.
Good morning, Brian.
Were you?
I was.
I don't believe you for a second.
That's
Take
fair.
your space.
Oh, am I doing things?
He
No, you're not doing things.
He
You're
already
talking.
gave you a kiss on the ear.
Yes, you just missed it. It was a very sweet kiss right on your ear.
I accept it. I'm just gonna roll with it.
So what are we talking about today, Elizabeth? Let's start
Oh,
over.
my dad has been waiting for you.
Oh yes, he said hi. He said hi to you like 3 times.
You weren't even here.
Yes.
One, I'm sorry, but two, we got bigger issues now.
What? You don't have a coffee.
I'm a coffee.
Fail.
A guy heard screaming, so I came out here and I was like,
It's good to know your voice carries all the way in the back.
it does, I heard it. I heard screaming. I'm not gonna lie.
I called you on the radio
You
3
yelled
times.
twice, didn't you? Or was it just once?
Well-
Charles once.
Yeah, I yelled Charles once,
Okay.
and then I yelled Vinny.
All right, I think I heard the Charles one because I heard one loud noise and I was like, that sounds weird. And then I heard a second loud noise. That sounds like Phil screaming.
Go get your coffee, Vinny, and then come back. We will get the conversation started.
Move faster.
That's you're demonstrating the slow is slow part of this conversation.
Slow is smooth.
And slow is slow.
So all I heard is I'm smooth.
Smooth.
Can't win with Vincent.
You can't.
No.
Anyway.
He finds a way.
Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Is garbage.
Who said that?
I don't know who said that.
But there's a second part to it.
Which is, did you add it on the
I
title?
didn't. I
Okay.
didn't because I wanted to surprise everybody. I'm just kidding.
Slow is slow.
Slow
Who
is
said
slow.
it? Thank
Brent.
you, Brent. Yes. Slow is slow. Drinking my coffee very smoothly.
Speed is the economy of motion. That's the second part.
I almost choked. See, slow almost killed me.
It's true. Which is why we need
And
to
it could
shop
definitely kill you in certain situations.
time. Like drinking
Okay,
coffee.
so this book that I'm reading, they were talking about, learning fighting skills and stuff, and they were talking about learning it from. Am I talking too slow for you?
That was my fighting skills.
Oh,
I mean, it was a
that makes sense.
It
I was
distracted
karate
you.
chopping and kicking at the same time.
Good morning, Janet.
Double deadly.
I'm so confused. Why? Can we ever have a
I'm trying to kick and karate chop. Oh, I got my foot in the camera. Proud of myself. It's a good day.
So, when I first started working at the range,
Gotta pretend like that didn't just happen.
I know, it feels like
Trying to have a normal conversation.
I don't even know what happened.
I'm a slow shooter. I like to shoot slow. I like to be very accurate, very precise, and hit the same hole over and over again.
So you're a very slow shooter, you say?
Yes,
Okay.
I didn't argue that.
Okay, I'm just
So
clarifying the
since
word.
I started working here, they want to speed me up. Rightfully so. I need to speed up. I need to get out of my comfort
So
zone.
slow isn't fast.
I'm not saying that it is.
But you did in the title.
No, I just. It's a quote. I did not put it in quotations. I should have. It is a quote from
So
somebody.
now you're trying to take credit for it.
No, I'm trying to.
She invented it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Get out of my.
That's how you know we got to that.
Get out of my
All
head.
right. I just accepted.
Anyway,
Calm down.
so they've been speeding me up. Okay. I like it. It's kind of fun. That's why I avoid matches. No, I just got a dang family to take care of. Anyway. Where's that going?
You're the one telling the story. How are we supposed to know? We ain't living in that chaos you
This
call a
book,
brain.
this book, this book that I'm reading, it's about violence, and he talks about, fighting skills and things like that, and how you need to learn these techniques very slowly and precisely, so that way you can do it right if you ever need to do it later. You can always speed it up later. Because of my experience, understand that to be true. I understand that it's hard to speed up if you start slow. But is there a mental block in there that's keeping me from speeding up? I feel like the technique for me shooting is there for me to speed up, but there's some sort of block because the fundamentals are there. You always got to go back to the fundamentals.
So
And this messes with me because I was like, okay, let's go faster. I can see the value in this. And I can also see the value in not starting my students off super, super slow. But then you also have students that are good with speeding up and picking up the pace that have a really hard time going slower and being precise. So I think it's a give and take either way.
100%.
And I don't
without
think
a doubt.
any of us disagree on that. No. But is it a personal approach on who starts slower and who picks up the pace? And how is it easier for them to go that way versus the opposite way? So, this quote, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, has always been a thing in the gun world. And not even just the gun world. It's been very prevalent in the gun world. But, what gives? This book is, once I changed my mind, I was like, okay, let's go with it. Now I can see a lot of value in the things that he's saying is because and I've also been experiencing this with Muay Thai and learning these punches and kicks and all these things that if I pick up the pace too fast, I start working intuitively. It's a reaction, not a conscious effort to do something the right way. I know that my technique suffers in jiu-jitsu if I don't do the technique correctly because I find myself just intuitively going through it faster.
Do I think that there's value in going slow with the fundamentals and making sure that you understand the fundamentals? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that the fundamentals are fundamental for a reason, right? They're an essential part of you being able to do whatever the thing is you're trying to do. I think in your specific case, and I think it is very similar to what we see with a lot of other people, when we put a bullseye in front of them and tell them that's what they got to hit, and it's a little 1-inch dot in the middle of a gigantic piece of paper. That's all they're worried about is that little 1-inch dot. If they miss it, and you guys have all seen this, if they miss it by this much, they're like, gosh, man, I really suck at this. Mm-hmm. You've shot a gun 3 times. That's really good, right? You got to the point where you could hit that dot all the time, all the time, all the time. So I have the ability to hit that. Well, then when you miss it, because you tried to make it happen faster, make it happen sooner, you're like, well, I can't go faster because then I don't accomplish my objective. It's really I think a mindset on what your objective is, which is exactly why we designed our basic pistol targets the way we designed them, as just a big circle. Is it a 12-inch circle or whatever the heck it is, 10-inch circle and a 4-inch square, right? Just that's the bullseye. That's the goal.
So stop real quick though,
Okay.
because I have a hard time with this too. Because when we took Jedi's class, he was saying exactly the same thing. Like if I tell you I just want you to hit that 12-inch circle and you hit it on the line in the lower left-hand portion of it, did you hit a bullseye? The answer is yes.
Yep.
Like that is an F off target. Like you did. But then you can look at that same bullseye after a pattern is starting to form, and you can see that all the shots are going in that area. So, on one hand, we have to say, okay, you accomplished the task. You hit a bullseye, but there is no defeating that pattern. Like you can see the pattern, and there's still value in looking at that pattern to see, because once you put the target out or you shoot at a smaller target, you're going to pull outside that target. So it's still
That's
important
exactly
to recognize those.
That's why you do it.
Right. So I think I want to back up a little bit to the whole like starting slow versus starting efficient.
I gotta go. I think it just shut off. The alarm going off is making me crazy. I'm gonna have to go fix it next time it goes off.
Why?
I can hear. Yeah, one of the alarms in the classroom is going off,
Okay.
and I can't.
So I'm going to
So I want to go back to what you
Okay.
were just talking about with the. Let's just say at the base level with a 10-inch circle at 4 yards, right? If you're putting every shot in there, that's a big group. All three of us should be better than that, right? There's no reason we should ever miss that. I don't care how fast we're pulling the trigger. For somebody that's brand new, they might miss it. So what, right? If they use that whole bullseye, awesome. As they get more comfortable, their expectations should grow. That bullseye should start to get smaller. The speed with which they're trying to hit the bullseye should go up, and the distance could get a little bit further, right? It depends. So I don't think that you, as somebody who does what you do, to be able to put 10 shots inside of a 10-inch circle at 4 yards tells me anything.
Oh, for sure. Yes, I understand.
So,
But we're in the business of teaching people. So, to just...
your expectations should be higher, but you don't need to, in my opinion, you don't need to every shot put it one hole on top of one hole on top of one hole on top of one hole. I do think, as somebody who says they're good at shooting, you should be able to do that at a given distance. We'll just say 7 yards, just for sake of argument. If I tell you tell me you're a really good shooter, okay, you should be able to shoot the gun in this whatever acceptable level of accuracy at a certain pace, and you should also be able to just slow everything down and really understand how the gun works and how the trigger works and all that stuff, and put 3 shots in a hole.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
I agree.
So it's all important, but you have to be able to recognize that you need to be able to do both.
So, should you start slow and with the ability to execute the technique perfectly first before you speed up?
What's perfection?
So, hold on, real quick, let's go through the comments. So,
Hello to everybody.
Brent says, all joking aside, shoot matches. When the timer goes off, you get out of your comfort zone. Absolutely. The couple matches that I've shot, I mean, just the one last year, it does. It brings you out of your comfort zone, and I know I need to do that.
I saw it just a couple days ago in, I don't even know what class we were teaching, but got the timer. Oh, it must have been Defensive 1. And I had one student in the class who was shooting. Oh no, it was initial arming, shooting really good. All in the class, really good shooter, great student. And man, literally had the timer in my hand, and he was like, hands are sweating and stuff,
yeah.
and you could tell he was super nervous just because, and that's good.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really good for you to be able to operate that way, and matches are good for that. Which is one thing. We don't do this here, and truthfully, I don't understand it completely, but in the competition world, hit factor, the more I've started, I always hated it. I always like the IDPA scoring system because it's super easy. The more I started looking at hit factor and trying to understand it, I was like, man, it really makes a lot of sense to me as to make easy skill baselines, right? To say that if your hit factor is this, because it's applicable to everybody, and it's really cool system. It's complicated.
I don't know a ton about it, so it's a little over my head there, but I would like to discuss
I certainly
that.
don't know it well enough to even talk about it. I don't talk about much intelligently, but definitely not that.
Good morning, Andy. Brian says, Phil going for the Macho Man Randy Savage frosted tip.
Oh, yeah!
Nick says, for me, I noticed I was borderline afraid of the gun. Growing up, I was never taught to shoot faster. No rush. Be careful. Rings in my ear. Absolutely. Yes. Same experience.
Be careful.
Here.
What?
Just be careful.
Said, be careful. No rush. While you're shooting, safety is first. One night at Skills and Drills, I've come to the conclusion that I'm doing all the right things safely, and I have room to become more aggressive. Yeah, and I think
I agree.
that level of confidence with your gun, that comes from a variety of things. Going outside of your comfort zone with the beat.
I gotta go.
Picking up your.
It's going crazy.
What?
I'll be back.
Phil's
I shall return.
Phil's the only
so
one that can hear
confused.
the alarm going off. It's the safe in
Oh,
the
safe in
classroom.
the classroom. I hear nothing.
So with the Lady Sentinels, this month we're drawing from holsters, and we're going down range, we're unloading the guns and everything, and just using empty guns and bringing the timer down there. And I think Brian Hill did this with us. We were just using empty guns and drawing, and he wouldn't tell us what the time was. He would just say, okay, it's getting shorter, and we'd keep speeding it up. And the amount of confidence that you have with an empty gun is far superior to what you have with a live gun. And I mean, obviously your risk is getting higher. I am a very risk averse person, so I can't imagine that helps me in my overthinking ways. But I think really, hold on, let's finish reading the comments here. This is why I like shooting the diagnostic drill at the start of range work and after. The varying size of the target location, the fact you only get one shot helps you gauge where you are in your fundamentals.
I agree.
Good morning, Dennis.
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Okay, so let's go back to the quote.
Can I want to touch on one other thing real quick, is confidence with the gun.
Yeah.
You can have confidence, you also have to have competence.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people who are confident in the gun who are not competent with the gun, and it's scary because they think they're being safe,
But they're not.
and holy crap, man, I messed up my nose. I just grabbed.
I told you.
I messed up my nose
That's
this
why I
morning.
always tell everyone, getting comfortable, getting confident is all good and stuff, but that doesn't mean you lose respect.
I think that's a really important thing for me to remember, because I talk about confidence with the gun a lot. My confidence comes from knowledge, and I know that that's not the same for everybody. Your confidence can come from a variety of reasons, like, okay, I hit the bullseye a bunch of times, like, okay, I have confidence. That doesn't mean you're not waving the gun around in between. So I do need to remind myself of that, like confidence for me is different, or could be different than other people. So competence definitely matters. But when it comes to
Because you've seen this. The biggest. Sorry, guys, it's cops, right? I'm a cop. I know what I'm doing. So that's confidence,
yeah.
right? And then we see
Actions.
non-competence, right? Oh man, you don't got to worry about that. I do this every day.
That's the worst mindset to have.
Yeah.
Like the second that you close off everything else and be like, don't worry, I do this all the time. That's the second that I learned that you are not open to learning anything new. Again, this is my understanding of competence and confidence, is like it comes from the knowledge.
Yeah.
If I don't have the knowledge on something, the Dunning-Kruger effect is real. That's when you get into something and you start to become pretty good at it, and then you kind of just throw all the new information to the side because you feel like you've already reached your highest level. And that is a terrible place to be. I always be learning. Always be
Yes.
learning. And the second that you stop learning and the second you say, well, I do this all the time and I got this,
enough.
those are usually the worst shooters. People that say that are usually my trouble children. So.
I'm going to give a real quick example, then we'll move on to the actual topic here. But I was doing a qual with a Secret Service agent. Should have a high level of confidence and competence with the firearm. And he had to be reminded multiple times to be muzzle aware. He was just, we'd do a mag change drill and he would have his gun in his hand and bend down to pick up a magazine and just
switch hands or something like that.
My goodness.
And when people saw that chick have a hard time holstering her gun, I'm like that sucks. You should be able to holster your gun safely. But there was aside from all the chaos going on, that's not unfortunately abnormal to see with a lot of people that holster guns on a normal basis.
Yeah.
So it sucks. Let's go up here. Okay. A lot of cops have showed up at the monthly matches one time, got embarrassed, and then never came back. That sucks. We can all get embarrassed from matches.
Yeah.
Every single one of us.
That's how you get better.
That's how you get better, for sure. And yeah.
That's an ego check. And I think that's why a lot of them don't show is
They don't want to get ego checked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mantis pistol training programs help a lot too if you are just starting off. You build that familiarity and repetition dry firing, plus you can do it in your home.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think the Mantis is a great system for some dry fire
Complacency
stuff.
is uber bad. Yeah, I definitely agree. Handling your gun at home, empty gun, please. Double check, triple check. That's the first point of being not complacent, is being confident in the condition of your firearm. And the second that you say, wow, I do this all the time, it's fine. Check again. Anyway,
Yeah.
but your handling skills when somebody comes in for whatever reason and I can see them switching hands with the gun, doing this with the gun, but they've been shooting their whole life, that's a prime indicator to me that they're not quite as open to that pistol handling says a lot. So, and you get this with any, skilled sport like that. You start to see people come apart in certain ways, and you can tell immediately where they're at in their abilities. So. I show up to matches expecting to get embarrassed, by the way.
That's how you get it right.
We often have to remind shooters that it is not a race to holster the gun. Load, make ready, and people are flying to put the loaded gun back.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Man, that is something
Hurts me.
we
fight that every day.
harp on
Literally.
so much. Yeah,
I
literally.
literally fight that every day.
We harp on that
hurts.
so much that there is never a reason to put your gun away fast or aggressively. Right? We'll see that, and I know the competitors see it too. You get lined up, and it's like, wham! I don't understand why, because it makes a cool sound.
It's because they're so focused. I see it in class a lot. It's they're so focused. They shoot their gun. Oh yeah, okay. How did I do? And it's just your brain is no longer mindful of this.
The task is not over
if
yet.
this is in your hand, whether you're shooting it, whether you're holding it, holstering it, pay attention.
Yeah.
It has to stay in the forefront of your mind. The second that it leaves the forefront of your mind, put the thing away. Period. You would be so surprised at some of the things that people do when they start talking with their hands or
yeah.
turn around or oh yeah. And I mean, it's turn that way. The second that the gun leaves your brain, put it away.
And we see it all the time. And all of us have stopped many people from turning around with a gun in their hand.
Yep.
Just because they'll ask you a question, you respond, and they try to look at you, and it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You can see it.
And
I,
and then all of a sudden, when you touch them, they're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
hopefully at least.
Sure, yeah.
But it is crazy how they totally forget about that thing. We've gotten way off topic. It's a good topic.
I don't
good
know.
topic.
Not very often.
But it's so. I don't know.
Sorry for the
It's a
glare.
very. It's such a mental game for me. But Brian says you'd be surprised, but a lot of professionals who carry a gun hardly ever shoot. Only dudes I ever met that had a huge level of comfort were Rangers, and that's because they shoot more than 80% of all ammo expended in training by the Army annually. Brent Fernandez, proper expectations. It's a good thing. Yes. Phil, Comp shooters slam their gun back home because that's how you assert dominance.
Dominance. Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. So holstering your gun fast doesn't. It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. You don't need to do it ever.
It's not a thing.
I will often, when Vin's in a class, like if he hops in a class that I'm teaching, and or even if I pop into one that he's teaching and he's doing a demo, I'll always ask the students like, "Hey, that was pretty fast, right? That was he drew his gun, shot 2 shots in 1 second or whatever." But did you notice how slowly he put his gun away? How slowly and carefully and purposefully.
Slow is smooth.
I do it.
But smooth isn't fast.
I put my gun away reluctantly.
The ladies want to know the technique of the pinky.
It's important.
The pinky. Yes.
You got a pinky push. Pinky push. It's the double P.
The double P, the pinky
Don't.
push.
We're not doing pinkies. We're not talking about them.
Sorry, internet. Not talking about my LCP.
Okay, so let's.
Got him.
Took you guys both out.
Anyway. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So
yes.
What? Okay, so you've been learning some fighting skills too, and I think this is kind of messing me up a little bit because the book that I'm reading specifically references fighting skills, and if you can build up the technique perfectly to be able to apply immediately and I guess quickly in a fight, I think that matters. You're pretty spicy. Like you have explosive energy. Yes, like
Okay.
you can move very fast. I can't do that. So I very much am reliant on the technique, and I don't know. Sometimes I have this desire to speed up and just do things intuitively versus doing it correctly.
Sure.
And because of my size difference, that really matters. When I'm shooting a gun, yes, it matters, but not as much as something like that. But I still want to make it relate to shooting guns.
in the context of punching, right? I can get away with being a little bit sloppier because I'm stronger. That's what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? That if my technique's not as sound, I can still make a good hit, a punching hit, because I have more mass and more strength. Okay, yeah, I get that. I 100% think that understanding the fundamentals and being able to do things the right way is important. However, if you chase perfection, and you've used that word several times, that your form, your technique has to be perfect, you will never catch it.
Mm-hmm.
You will
I know.
never get there, right?
It's
So I'm just
hyperbolic,
saying,
but yeah.
I'm just saying that if I got to get this thumb has to be right in this one spot. Man, this knuckle just has to be right on top of this knuckle. There's a difference between techniques that work and understanding the principles that we're trying to apply those techniques to, so that if the technique isn't perfect, but we understand the principles, we know how to make up the difference, if that makes sense. On the slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If the first time I heard this, the very first time I heard this, and it made total sense to me, was skydiving. It was learning how to do formations in the air, and this dude, Chuck, what's his name? He looked like Eddie Murphy. He was a Green Beret in the Army, taught at their school in Yuma, their free fall school. Phenomenal human being. He was the goofiest son of a gun ever. He looked like and he talked like Eddie Murphy. I will never forget this guy. He was super cool. Anyway, that was the first time that I'd ever heard that saying. Was slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Like, you need to understand the technique, right? If you're trying to do this thing in the air and you try to go too fast and you crash into somebody else, you could A, just cause some chaos, B, you could hurt somebody. So I'd rather you do it slowly and make it happen correctly, and then as you get more comfortable with that, you can try to make it happen faster, sooner, right? So in that respect, it makes sense. But if you take the words for what you're saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, it's not. Slow is smooth if you do it correctly, but slow is still slow.
So if I think this is, I can kind of relate it to like drawing a gun. So if I draw my gun and get it out as fast as I can and have all this wobbliness at the end that I gotta correct and my shoulders are all tense and all this chaos because I just went fast and put all this effort in, versus like actually getting the gun out efficiently because the technique is right, I think that's where that really starts to play a role, is like your technique gives you the ability to put in less effort.
Sure.
So that way it becomes more efficient, because then the next part of this is speed is the economy of motion. So if your motion is economical and efficient, then you get more speed, given that the technique allows for it. But if you're just going fast and putting in all this effort, then it's just a big jumbled mess of chaos and tension. So
if you try to take somebody and say, I want you just to draw your gun and point out at the target in 1 second, and they don't understand really how to do it, you see all sorts of crazy crap, right?
Yeah.
So that's them trying to go fast without any technique. It is the economy of motion, meaning that you're going to do as little work as possible to accomplish the task.
yeah, shooting becomes easier, and then it's
And so there is some validity to that, like doing that slow first and knowing how to build your grip, in this case on the gun, right? How to build your grip on the gun, how to marry your hands together and present the gun out in front of you. If you do that chaotically and you end up with some teacup thing and the gun's pointed in some weird direction, sure, you drew the gun and pointed it out in front of you, but it's not
fast,
not done correctly.
but it's not efficient.
Yeah.
Brent says holstering fast is dumb. Takes no time to look the gun safely into the holster. Agreed.
Look.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Look it into the holster.
People think it's so cool to be able to put their gun away without looking.
Yeah.
Good for you. But freaking look your gosh dang gun back in a holster.
The only one who ever argues with me over the whole slow and smooth argument is my
You didn't say the words. Say it, Elizabeth.
is my wife. Brent says, Liz, what book are you reading? It is called When Violence is the Answer by Tim Larkin. It's a pretty good book. It is challenging me on a lot of things, and it's a little spicy. So, and I'm still trying to process this whole book. It is very, well, check it out. Chasing perfection is the refinement process through, but accepting the fact that you will never reach perfection keeps frustration at bay.
Well,
I definitely, so chasing perfection is the refinement process, though. Yes, I agree. But accepting the fact that you will never reach perfection keeps frustration at bay. Yes, I know that I will never reach perfection, but I should never stop trying to reach perfection. I know that it's not technically in existence because the bar keeps getting raised. There's a bar here that might be perfect for me right now. You know, hitting bullseyes, a 1 inch square at 10 yards. Being able to hit that at this point, like, or, you know, a year ago, like, that's perfection. But then the bar gets raised, and then that's the next level of perfection. Like, so to me, perfection is like going up a staircase and like have a goal.
But you
Reach that.
understand that the top's never there.
I just hate that word perfection. I just
I do
really
too.
do. I really do.
I agree.
But it can be so vast. Like,
What was it that Brian said? Is like
perfection is procrastination.
Yeah, perfection is the very definition of procrastination.
Yeah. But yes, I mean that one messed with my brain too.
I freaking love it
Yeah.
because that's
I do
100%
too.
true. I agree that you should always be stepping up and trying to get better, but does that mean perfection?
Brent, I have read Violence of Mind. That's a great book
Yeah,
as well.
great book.
Yeah, for
Bart
sure.
Freeborn.
I've read quite a few of the violent books because I am a very risk-averse, not violent person. So these books are helpful for me to understand what people are capable of.
Violence of Mind with Bart Freeborn, the audiobook version has him actually reading it. After reading the book and then hearing him read the book, the guy that actually wrote it, it just took a whole new meaning on for me.
Yeah.
Actually hearing him talk about it, because the way he explains everything, the way he reads it, the inflection in his voice, the changes in his voice when he reads it compared to when I just read the words, it was impressive to me how much it changed it.
That's interesting. I don't know that I've listened to that that
Oh,
audiobook.
yeah.
I've read the book.
Yeah, I read the book a couple times. Then I listened to the audiobook, and it changed everything.
I
About the
have
book
it on
for me.
audiobook, but I don't think
It
I've
blew
listened
my
to it.
mind.
I go back and forth on audiobooks and whether I prefer the author to read them or not, because you can get their personal like
Their take on
emotions
it,
and
yeah.
their
Take on it.
tone
Yeah, their emotions
in
in
it.
it.
Beyond Uda is another good one.
Yeah. I just like both. I like reading it myself.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I remember when I read through it, I highlighted things I liked, took notes on things I liked. But then when he read it and I just kind of followed along with it, it just took on different meanings.
Yeah, I think that it's.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Again, we're getting a little off topic,
Yeah,
but I
okay.
think that
Never happens.
it's
Never happens. Never.
it depends on the subject. You know,
We just
too.
started the club.
Dude, I love audiobooks. That's my jam. This is a conversation I had years ago in my martial arts class. The perfect technique, which is impossible because each technique is applied differently based on every factor you can imagine. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Should we just start?
Started
Yeah,
the club.
techniques are only perfect for one instance, one moment in time, right then and there. That's it.
Yeah.
Because
Principle.
there's so many variables.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be perfect.
Book nerds.
Books are cool.
They are.
Yeah. books-
Especially audiobooks. I don't have time to read.
Books
Puts
are
me to
cool.
sleep. Oh, there we go. What is that?
What?
Who just gave the thumbs up?
Someone gave us a thumbs up.
Well,
Is that what it was?
sometimes it gets this little bubble in the middle of the screen.
No.
Only on the cool iPhone. It doesn't happen when Phil's on his Android.
I
But
want to make people
we've
bubble.
tried this before. We don't
I
know
wanna
what
try
it
it.
does. And sometimes there's fireworks back
Yeah,
there
I don't
too.
understand the fireworks.
I'm gonna
Vinny,
send a
give us
heart.
stars.
Vinny just gave us a heart. It'll
I'm
take
giving
like
a heart.
5
Nothing.
minutes for us to see.
There it goes.
Oh,
That's me.
That's a little.
I have an idea.
Okay, you're
Vincent.
spamming them. Okay.
I love
Do you have any
Vinny.
stars to give?
I actually do, I think.
Okay, give us a star. See what
I'll do
happens.
I'll do a star.
We'll figure out if that's the
Yes, I think I do.
fireworks.
Well, maybe I don't. Here. There's 20 stars. Cost me $1.
Hey, so do you think someone who usually shoots fast has trouble controlling their trigger finger to get precise shots?
Hope you're not asking
I mean-
me. I'm totally checked out right now.
I think it depends on the person and what is fast. You know, I think somebody who you just taught how to shoot right now and they're slapping the trigger, I think that they don't really have an understanding of how the trigger works. There's a time and a place, and you can appropriately slap the crap out of the trigger. But if that's all you know, then I don't think that person will have an easy time hitting the 1 inch square at 10 yards.
I have had shooters that like to just send it, and they have a real hard time just managing this guy because this is where all your precision comes from. But it's usually the shooters that just like to shoot the target, and they're accurate. They're accurate enough for the A zone. But if I needed them to hit a 1 inch square at 10 yards, then that would be a very big challenge. And I think, but here's another problem for me. When I try to speed up, my finger doesn't even move that fast. Like this.
And I think
And
you can.
I know that I can, but what do I do? Like, I need to do finger workouts or something. Like,
I don't think it's just finger workout. I humbly believe, Phil's dying. Anyways,
I tried not
I
to.
humbly believe that you can't move your finger fast enough because of the amount of tension that you are using in your dominant hand to help control your gun, even if you don't realize you're using your dominant hand. I guarantee I'm willing to bet money, like $1.75, that you're using that dominant.
But even
More.
just moving my hand here, where there's
I
complete
can't-
relaxation,
I
my
can't
finger
move my
moves.
finger that fast as I can when I'm shooting. Having resistance against your finger and something for the rest of your hand will do allows you to move that finger quicker than you just sitting here doing.
But I'm not tightening my.
Because you can get a shot timer. There ain't no way that's a tenth of a second.
Your hand's tight.
I know, and that's because my hand's trying to do something. I don't know what to do with my hands.
So you're saying
I
that
need
your finger moves that fast because you have tension, like something else is
not
pushing
tension,
on your hand.
because
and
I
you're-
have resistance against my finger that I'm pushing against. When you pull the trigger and you let off, that trigger moves your finger out. When you're just doing this, you're pushing it out and pulling it back, pushing it out, pulling it back. When you're actually shooting a gun,
So
your
you're-
finger is part of that, or your trigger is part of that.
You're
process as
essentially
well.
bump firing with your finger.
I mean, everyone is a tiny bit.
I mean, but if
Because
that's
you're not pulling the trigger. What he's saying is
you're not pulling the trigger away.
you're just letting the reset move your finger back. Like you're not physically moving it forward and back, forward and back. Like it's just you're
That's
just applying
helping.
enough pressure
Yeah.
to where the reset sends your trigger finger forward to where you can press it.
All my
faster.
point is, you're never going to be able to move your finger right here as fast as you do when you're moving
Shooting
it
the
on
gun.
like
I want to play with that with a SIRT gun
Yeah,
and see if I can.
We can grab a SIRT gun. I guarantee I can move my finger 1,000 times faster than I ever could
Can
right
there.
here.
Okay.
1,000 times faster. We can record it in video if we want. I'll never be as fast right here as I will be on a SIRT gun.
Okay, I'll definitely try that.
I know it. 'cause
Plus,
I've
you
done
don't have the defined.
how much movement. I'm
Movement you
moving.
need.
This is a ginormous amount of
Right,
movement. When
right.
on my gun, I'm trying not to.
I
move
was
my hand
literally
right.
thinking that I needed to work on the, because fast twitch muscles. You can gain
Oh, absolutely.
twitch
Yeah.
muscle like the more that you practice moving those muscles. And I thought that was a big part of why my finger couldn't move fast enough to pull the trigger that fast. And I think with that understanding, I might be able to just approach it a different way and practice the technique different. So,
I do think the fast twitch muscles are important when it comes to shooting, but that's like getting off the beep and that sort of stuff. That, That moving, starting your motion sooner. That's where your fast twitch muscles.
as you
apply.
age, your
Decline,
fast
yeah.
twitch muscles are the ones that decline
Sure.
the
Because
first.
you need them the least.
Yeah.
And those are what keep your balance and all that stuff. So they're super important, but those are the ones that go. That's why older people move slower. It's just because they don't have the same agility because of those muscles because they don't stay developed.
But I think training can change that.
For sure. I just want to make sure I'm training the right thing. This is kind of goes back to like, if I just go for it and like the more I just try to shoot a bill drill and, move my finger faster, it's like if I'm moving my finger faster the wrong way, then I'm not going any faster. So I need to.
And I would agree that if you are moving your finger faster, so you're shooting faster than you feel comfortable shooting, and you're not getting the results that you want when you're doing it, I'd be willing to bet the common denominator on why you're not able to get that is grip.
Go ahead.
I'm kind of curious about something. Maybe this is something we'll have to try to do. Go downstairs and shoot a bill drill, right? And let's just say your splits are quarter second, right? And then do the same thing with no target. Just shoot the backstop and see what your splits are.
Bet you'll be faster.
Oh, I for sure. Yeah,
guarantee-
I know
I've
that
done
that's
to
part of
people
it.
Many a times.
Yeah.
But we've also Vinny's pushed me with the pyramid drill and stuff like that too. But that's also like I can build a pattern with my dot. Like I can see my dot, so I'm comfortable picking
Which is
up the
okay, yeah.
pace.
That's not wrong.
Well, we need to try it out.
Yeah,
I definitely want to try the finger thing because I think that's much different application.
Yeah,
than what I've been
I
doing.
really think that a big part of your problem going slow is confirmation, right? 'Cause you want I want to shoot a 2-second bill drill, and I want to do it like that.
I'm okay with not doing that now. I don't know
Which is
what it
fun.
is
I
that's
think
hanging
you're
me
more
up.
okay with
Yeah.
it.
I
It's
can't
progress.
tell you how tense this hand feels. And when I start picking up the pace, the tension builds in my shoulders and everything like
And
that.
I do the
So
same thing. Vinny's called me out on that many
It's-
times.
But now that the different application of how I press the trigger, I'm really interested to see how that changes things. So because right now my left hand, I've been working really hard on relaxing my dominant hand, tightening with my left hand, but my left hand tightening here is pulling the tendons in my dominant hand tight. So I'm still restricted here quite a bit. But with the different application of this, if I don't need to move it forward, then my tension here is not going to cause me any issues. In fact, it might even help. So I want to go shoot guns.
We gotta go shoot guns. That's the
Okay,
only-
so let's read some comments. Brian says, "You seriously don't know there's a visual recognition running in the background." No, you're asking if you do certain hand signatures or motions or say keywords. That's why you get those end screen bubbles or confetti. Oh,
Interesting.
what? But what are we saying? Good morning, Lou. This is about gun fun. Nubby fingers limit your rate of fire. I know, he's a little stubby, guys. Phil is losing it between me and Liz talking about finger buzzing techniques. Oh, it was something.
What?
He's right. I apply enough pressure to the rest of the trigger sear wall and then just basically move on that distance. Do you guys use any grip training, strength training devices? Yes.
Yes.
I have a couple of them. Pro hands, NSD spinner, video games. I'm not kidding. Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I cannot button mash as well as I used to anymore. I used to be awesome at Tekken and Mortal Kombat.
There was a game that I played is actually at Cindy's grandfather's retirement home. That was just a touch game on this big touch screen. Like you see I don't remember. Every time a red ball would flash, you got to try to touch it, and it was trying to make it, it would show up for a second, then disappear, then it was 3/4 of a second, then a half second, and it was just trying to get faster and faster. I love that stuff.
Oh, I bet. Probably find a game on my phone like that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff like that out there.
Brent, what's the thing that you say they even have this thing that's shaped like a gun now with a grip trainer built in? You should send it. Good morning, Gordon.
Pretty sure
Liz, try shooting
HKPO7.
predictively instead of reactively to what your site is doing.
Group thing in the front.
What's that now?
Nick says try shooting predictably instead of reactively to what your site is doing.
That's what I was going to mention because you brought that up in the last
Yeah,
class
I did.
when I was shooting in there.
Yeah.
So
It makes a difference.
It absolutely does.
I think that's the reason, and I know what you're saying, and I know that I should do that. I think my technique is changing as I pick up the pace. Like I'm building tension, so I'm not able to predict it, or at least I think I'm not able to. So it's probably just me overthinking it.
Yeah,
so.
because you're reactively shooting,
right?
Because you're waiting for that
stimulus
dot to settle down, and you've gotten way better at especially with a dot, guys. This is so advantageous with a dot. That if you can see this red or green streak, and that reminds me, I need you both to look at my dot. If you can see that red or green streak,
you can see where your
streaking,
issues are.
Yeah, in the acceptable level of accuracy, keep ripping the freaking trigger.
Yeah.
If you see that going up and to the left or to the right or disappearing low or whatever, you can start to diagnose stuff.
Brian says the irony is if you watch dudes shoot under duress, they will jerk that trigger like it's Saturday night, and
you're supposed to.
They're going home from the club alone, and it owes them for the drinks.
you should
rip the trigger like it owes you money.
No, you should be able to do that.
That's where your grip plays a role.
Yeah, and obviously it depends on the distance, right? Like at 25 yards, I'm not going. We just did this drill in the class last week. Where we had them off the trigger and just touching the trigger.
Yeah.
Just mash it.
And just slap the crap out of it.
Freaking mash it.
Yeah.
Because you can understand that at a distance, if your grip is good, you can freaking smash the crap out of the trigger and freaking run it. It doesn't have to be.
So Ben Stoger was talking about a dry fire drill. Unload your gun, and if you have a Glock, then it's hard to do this. But then I also learned that you can put a little zip tie in your chamber and not close your chamber all the way on a Glock. I haven't tried it yet, but your trigger should still pop back out.
Yeah,
and
it still allows for the mush.
Yes. So with that, if you have the ability to keep pressing your trigger even after the striker drops, then you can just aggressively pull the crap out of your trigger and work on your grip and just really work on pressing the trigger. But then that negates, it doesn't push my finger forward. So that would be...
I mean, it does a tiny bit, but it's not about... The trigger is not necessarily... Don't think of it as the trigger is pushing your finger forward.
It's not an FRT.
Think of it as the trigger is offering a level of resistance that you are playing off of.
Yeah.
That is where it is more so. It's not that it's just going to force you for it. It's not going to do it without you moving.
Right.
But it gives you a point of resistance to work off of. It gives you a balancing point, shall we say.
So Brent says Cam knows what the grip strengthener is, and Cam's like, wait, what do I have? Hi, Cam.
Oh, hi.
That grip trigger thing that's shaped like a gun. What's its name? I have a grip keeper. Yes. I think it's, pistol grip trainers. The grip keeper. Cool.
I want to look that up. I'm curious
I want to click it.
what it
Yes, those are it. Grip
trains
keeper.
you on.
I'm
Awesome.
going to click it.
Click it. Vinny's going to
I'm
click it.
going to do it.
Okay.
gonna-
I'll look into it. The cert gun I know would be a fantastic.
The grip keeper.
Cam says, if y'all
Joe.
want to test them out for a bit, I'll drop the 2 I have off. He sent them to me for free, so I'd like others to see them. Heck yeah. I'd like to check it out. What's it look like? What?
The name of it is called Just the Grip, or the Stubby Grip.
Well.
It's a grip with a spring built into it.
Huh. Yeah, but I don't want to grip the thing with my dominant hand.
I know that's
I know
what I was thinking.
that's why it bothers me because it forces me to use that dominant hand.
Okay,
Or
well, maybe
could not do it
Maybe
with
you
the
could
dominant
just
hand.
put your dominant hand on there and tighten everything up with your
That's
non-dominant
true.
hand. Maybe, I don't know.
Actually, you could force yourself to not use your dominant hand. Have your dominant hand exactly just sit there
Yeah,
and do
just sit
nothing,
there.
but then force yourself to use the left hand to actually
Yeah,
compress
I don't know.
it.
That'd be
I
interesting.
feel
to-
like
Oh,
I
no,
just
I like
took a
to try
class
it.
that challenged every fiber of my shooting skills, and
You're
I just
welcome.
need to
All right.
go shoot guns.
How do
There's somebody
I?
here.
Oh,
I think
but
that's our
someone's
guy.
here.
Early.
Yeah, probably. We gotta go, guys.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
We had a good talk.
Yeah, we did.
They're interesting trainers, but use your sport hand. Okay. Oh, use the sport hand. That makes sense.
You're saying it
Hold
allows
it
you to
with
use your
your
sport hand? Okay.
Just do better.
Okay. Which it should. All right. We got a meeting at 9:30 and our guy's early, so we got to go. If you guys,
Which means we're late.
yes,
He's early. We're late.
there's two people out there. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go
Okay, you go talk to him. Make sure it's
I'll make sure it's your people.
okay. If you guys need something, come see us, 14803 Manchester Road in beautiful. Well, I got to shorten up. Beautiful ball. I'm too tall. You're too short. Beautiful Baldwin, Missouri. 10 to 8 Monday through Friday. Saturday 9 to 6. Sunday 10 to 6. If you guys, I already said that. Need something? Come see us. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Toodles.
You guys stay safe. Be nice to one another. We'll catch you soon.